Hi there. Time for a music vlog, one thinks. Another nostalgic music vlog. And today I want to talk about this band and the times I bumped into them. And the first time was in 1968. I think it was October time, 1968. And they were billed to play not as Led Zeppelin, but as the new Yardbirds. It was a period of time when Jimmy Page had split from the founder members of the Yardbirds, who went on to form a group called Renaissance. And at this time, Jimmy was in a transition period. He'd got these new musicians in, which, as you can tell, John Paul Jones, John Bonham, and of course Robert Plant. And they'd been working, they were doing some gigs just on the normal circuits. They weren't on fairly big money. There is stuff on the internet will tell you that they did go to this venue, the Argus Butterfly, where I went to in October, but they went in, I think it was February, March I think it was, and their fee was £100, so not big money. But anyway, I went along to see them at the Argus Butterfly, which is situated in a town called Peterlee on the northeast coast, below Sunderland. And obviously, as I went into the venue, the billboard stated the new Yardbirds featuring Jimmy Page. And Michael being Michael, who always had a habit of wandering into dressing rooms, as he did on this occasion, he drifted into the dressing room and got into conversation with Jimmy Page. And I asked Jimmy if he was not getting any stick by using the Yardbirds name off the founder members, to which he said that he'd had a little bit of hassle, but not a great deal. And as this lineup, they were currently in recording studios to bring out a first LP under the Atlantic label. And to coincide with the album coming out, which he was hoping before Christmas, he was going to change the name of the band. And I asked him what to. And of course he inevitably said Led Zeppelin. And the rest basically was history. It was just an onward climb from then on. I later bumped into Led Zeppelin in June of '69, because obviously it was '68 when I first met them in October. And in '69 they were headlining at the Newcastle City Hall. And we'll go out and do a vlog in town, and I'll show you the venue, Newcastle City Hall, which all the greats have played at over the years. But anyway, they were headline. Why I was there, I was roadieing at this time for a band called Bloodwind Pig, who was led by a guy called Mick Abrahams, who was initially lead guitarist for Jethro Tull. And also on the bill was a band called Liverpool Scene, very zany outfit, and obviously from Liverpool. And the leader of that band was a big, huge guy called Adrian Hendry, who later became a poet laureate. The next time and the final time I ever bumped into Led Zeppelin was I'd moved down to London at this period with Bloodwind Pig, and I bumped into a guy called Roger Manifold, who became my mentor. And we'd gone down to Shepton Mallet for the 1970 Bath Festival of Blues and Pop, which was headlined by some big American bands and also some big English bands. On the American side, Frank Zappa and the Mothers, Steppenwolf, who were big at the time, Grace Slick and Jefferson Aeroplane, Chicago, great band, and the first ever plane in the UK of Santana, which were absolutely fantastic. On the British side of it, and of course other big British bands, oh, loads of them. Arthur Brown was on, Keith Hartley was on, Free weren't on, which were quite big at the time, but I think they'd gone to do another festival. I'm not sure whether it was Glastonbury or it could have been Isle of Wight, but anyway, that's another story. And I was side stage at the Royal Festival of Blues and Pop, and the roadies set the equipment up, and of course when they seen the bass drum Led Zeppelin written on, of course the place erupted. And side stage came Jimmy Page, who we had a quick little conversation with, just about 10-15 seconds, and that was the very last time I bumped into them. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to close this vlog down at home, and we're going to go outside and I'm going to show you the old Newcastle City Hall, and we'll make a little vlog outside, and then we'll go on to do another quite famous venue, which sadly isn't there, but the site's still there, I can show you, called the Mayfair Ballrooms. And it was in the Mayfair Ballrooms I played alongside Canned Heat. We did a British tour with the band that I was playing for at the time. By this time I was back playing drums again. But anyway, we'll carry on later. Bye for now. Hi folks, well finally I've got to do this outside vlog to finish off where we left off, and I'm now outside Newcastle City Hall, so I'll change the camera over and we'll take a look at it. Unfortunately we can't get too near because the workmen are on doing something. So there, in all its glory, is the old famous Newcastle City Hall, where, as I previously said, a lot of famous people came here, including Led Zeppelin. Here's the billboard outside, so let's have a look, see who's coming on. Right. Buddy Holly and the Cricketers. Friday 9th of March, Shawaddy Waddy. Bad job, that's going back a bit. 70s, New Faces. There we are, Thursday 5th of April, Jethro Tull, 50th anniversary tour. That'll be good. Sunday the 15th of April, Brian Furry. And then as we go down, look for someone else. There's a very nostalgic Newcastle artist. Saturday 23rd of June, Eric Burden and the Animals. That'd be interesting, see how many original Animals are playing with him. I tend to guess none. Anyway, we'll have a walk round the building. Obviously City Hall's on Northumberland Road, so we'll come round the side of the building. There used to be a bar. I don't know what's happened to that, but that used to be a public bar. Usually where all these cars are parked, you usually get the old trucks, which I've parked here myself on several occasions with various bands when I worked for Edwin Shirley Trucking. Fairly old building is the City Hall. Now your major artists go to the arena, which is further central. We'll going to go and have a look at the Mayfair site. So there we are. There's the old stage door. By God, some famous people walked in there and still do, including Jimmy Page. Yes, I've been through there a few times myself. And if you walk further down the old building, it still has a box office where you can buy your tickets. But sadly everything's done online now, isn't it? Which indicates there's been a lot of ticket touting, and prices now are absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, so there we are. That's Newcastle City Hall. Right, we'll now push on and we'll get away over to where the Mayfair Ballroom stood. Bye for now. Right folks, we've come a little bit more central into Newcastle, and I'll just switch the camera around, and we're now at the site of the Gate, which is a big complex that was built I think about 15 years ago, and this was built on the site of the Mayfair Ballroom. And just as a matter of interest, up above this side entrance there's a plaque there. I'll put a closer snap of that plaque, and that plaque was put up by the BBC to state that Led Zeppelin came here, but it was the 4th of October, which is very interesting because it was the 5th of October that Led Zeppelin went down to the Argus Butterfly at Peterlee. And I've done a little bit of investigation, and I found out that they came up to do 3 dates that weekend, and they did the 3rd at a venue in Sunderland. And after the Sunderland venue they came up to do this venue here at the Mayfair, and then they finished off. The 3rd gig they did was down at Peterlee. But I'll put you a closer picture of that up. Of course later I came here playing with a band on a British tour with a American blues band, Canned Heat. And that's another story we'll get into. So right, I hope you've enjoyed this vlog, one of many. So we'll catch you later. Bye.